Hello everybody, welcome to Sane Game Studios. I am Sane, I'm an amateur game developer. Today I'm going to be doing a devlog on a game jam game that I made. So if you are unsure what a game jam is, I actually talked about it quickly in my last video. I wouldn't actually say quickly, it was the longest part of the video. But essentially it is when a group of game developers come together and they organize a friendly competition amongst them. And what they do is they set a start time and a finish time, and you have to build a game in that time frame. And then they also announce a theme when it starts, and you have to build it to that theme. If you are curious as to what game jams are, I actually explained them a little bit at the end of my last video, 11 tips for beginner game devs. Otherwise, you can go to itch.io and they have a jams page that just has a ton of game jams there. Go ahead, take a look. When I recommend people do game jams, it's a little bit hypocritical because I've actually never done a game jam, and it was something I was always nervous about doing and something I wasn't sure I was ready for. But then I don't know, I just decided one night, I was like, screw it, there's a game jam coming up, I'm going to sign up, and I did, and I actually had a lot of fun, and it challenged me in different ways that I didn't anticipate. Just having the time limit there and having to build everything within the time limit was, it was a challenge. It was a feat. And then this game jam in particular gave bonus points for creating your own assets for everything. So your own art assets, sound effects, music, everything. If you used anything publicly available, they would deduct 1 point from that field on the rating, right? So if you downloaded a song to put into your game, you would lose 1 point on your soundtrack. So I took that as a personal challenge, and I made everything myself. And not only did I make it myself, I tried to make it myself as quickly as possible. So it doesn't look the greatest, but it doesn't look the greatest evenly. It is not the best art, but it is a consistent art style. But what I did is, because I knew I had a time limit and I had to build a game that I knew I could make, and I could make it decent and well within the time frame. So I had to pick something that was small in scope with a decent amount of playability that I knew I already had the skills to make, but would also push the boundaries a little bit. And I came up with Nemesis TV. So what this game is the core concept is that the game itself is a TV screen, and the game starts with the TV turning on, and then it turns the channel up, and that goes to the menu, and then when you hit play, the channel goes up again, and then that enters the game. And then what happens is the game has 3 levels, and each level is a channel, and when you kill enemies, you fill up an energy bar. I call it the juice bar, and when it is full, you can use that juice to change the channel. And as long as that juice bar is full, you can change channel either up or down to go to a different level. And when you go to a different level, it completely resets the enemy spawns. So there's no enemies on the screen when you first enter the level, but the rate in which they spawn, which actually increases as you develop your character, stays the same. So to increase the depth, once I got the game running, the guy running around, buddies shooting, an enemy running around to shoot at, the bullets hitting the enemy, being destroyed when they do, deducting HP, all that yada yada yada. I had to figure out a way to add a little bit more, add another layer to it. And I figured the best way to do that was to include power-ups. But then to include power-ups, I then also had to include a game economy. So now I had to build a system where the enemy has a drop chance. So there's a 1 in 3 chance that the enemy will drop a coin drop, and that will give you a random amount of coins determined by how difficult the enemy was. The harder the enemy, the more amount of coins they're capable of giving you. I think it caps out at 20. So when you pause the game, you also enter the store, and the store has a handful of upgrades you can use to increase the power of your character. There's bullet damage, fire rate, and maximum health. And they all have capped amounts, and they all have an exponentially increasing price. So the base price is $15 multiplied by the amount of upgrades you have. So the first one's 15, the second upgrade's going to be 30, and then 45, and then 60, and then 75, and then 90, and then 105, and so on and so forth until it's fully maxed. I think I have it set so you can upgrade your fire rate 30 times, your damage 25 times, and then I think the health is 20 or 30 times. But then I was planning this out in my head. Like, I was putting pen to paper and I was planning out what it is I'm going to build when the time limit starts. And then when the time limit started, they announced the theme, and the theme was a single word. It was hunt. They elaborated on it like a little bit, right? And when they said hunt, they meant like very broad hunt. You could, build a search and find where you're hunting for items in an image. You could do a like a shopping simulator where you're hunting for bargains. You can have it so that you are hunting animals, or you are hunting a person, or a person's hunting you. And that's what I thought would be the easiest thing to incorporate into my game. Hence the name Nemesis TV. So while you are in this TV and you're channel hopping between channels, every time you enter a channel, you have a 1-minute timer. And at the end of that 1-minute invisible timer, a Nemesis spawns. And this enemy does a large amount of damage, enough actually that when you don't have your health fully upgraded, it can one-hit kill you. And then I didn't want the player to be killed the first time they accidentally touch this Nemesis, so actually I created a safeguard where for all damage, when you receive damage, if your health is greater than 1 and the amount of damage that you are taking puts your health at 0 or lower, your health equals 1. So you can never be one hit. And then when you do get hit and you're close to death, so if you have low health and you do get hit, it will, instead of going below 0 and immediately causing a game over, it will drop down to 1 and give you a small opportunity, because there's also a 1-second window after you get hit where you are invincible. You can get out of the way and hopefully find a health pickup. Or in the store, I also have purchasable health, where you can only buy a full health recharge, and it is 2 gold per 1 HP. So if you are only missing 25 health, then it is going to cost you 50 gold to replenish. But if you have max health and you're missing 300 hit points, it's going to take you 600 coin. But also, when you hit to upgrade your health, it also gives you a full heal. So the point of the game is to avoid the Nemesis. And then as you're avoiding the Nemesis, you kill enemies so you can change channel. When you change the channel, the Nemesis is no longer there, and you have 1 minute until it spawns. And you can spend that minute killing enemies, picking up money, spending it in the store, upgrading your character, and the Nemesis is killable, has an obscene amount of health. So once I had the gameplay loop, I had to set both win and lose conditions. So the lose condition is just a game over, the TV turns off, and then it turns back on and it is restarting the game. On a win condition, the TV turns off and you get a view of the meta player, which is the player who's playing the game on the TV that you're playing the game on. They have a small monologue, and then there is a credit sequence. There is actually still a couple days left in this game jam. I managed to finish this game a little bit ahead of time. I had a lot of fun doing it, and as you can see, it turned out like half decent. Like, it's not a great game. I would not put it on Steam and try to sell it, but it will be available on itch.io. And so when the game jam has concluded, I will update the description of this video to include a link to the game if you're interested in playing it. I will also post on my channel feed that the game has been released and it is available for play. It is honestly, in my opinion, not a very great game. It is a game that I threw together in 7 days, making all of my own assets. So if you do play it, keep that in mind and be a little bit forgiving on your opinion. As I said, I'm an amateur game developer. I do think I am getting pretty good at it, but I built this thing in quite the time crunch, and I built everything from scratch, from the ground up. But that's all that I got for you guys. I'm going to keep this video short and sweet. I just wanted to quickly show off what I built for my very first game jam. And if you think it looks cool. But that is all that I have. I do highly recommend participating in a game jam. It was a incredible experience with a very close-knit community, and as we are all building these games, we are talking to each other on Discord and talking back and forth and really getting involved in the creation of each other's games. It was a very friendly competition. People not only displaying what it is that they have so far, and, a little bit of bragging rights happening for some of the people that were getting a little bit ahead of the curve. But a lot of people asking for input and getting other people's opinions on what they should put in their game jam game, and nobody approached it with like a sabotage type of mentality. Everybody wanted to see everybody else make the best game that they could make in the time frame allotted, and it was just a very supportive, very positive experience. But like I said, that's all that I have. So please like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to hear from you and see you guys doing a game jam. So with that, peace out.